Hello and welcome to Let's Drone Out. Today we are missing Tony because he's an idiot, and straight out of rehab, the beautiful.
I don't even know what rehab I'm supposed to have been out of, but yes, apparently I'm out of rehab. Yes, I made it out. I escaped, actually. I wasn't released. But hello.
Did you escape?
Yes.
You can make it up. You could be like sex rehab, drug rehab, fucking alcohol rehab.
If only I was actually that rock and roll.
Oh, mate, you are like private jet, man. Sophie, fucking Pat Sharp.
I think it was Let's Drone Out rehab.
That's probably more likely. Yeah.
Mate, that's just called therapy. That's just called therapy. We're also joined by Droningon or Ash.
Hello.
He's very good looking, but not as good looking as NJ.
Honestly.
Sorry, mate. We're also joined by Andy RC. He's only just got up.
Literally has just got up.
You're looking more Blink 182 with that hoodie on.
Really?
And I'm missing your cleavage.
Oh, okay. I'll unzip it.
There you go, ladies. NJ, bit of cleavage, you got to love it. And we are joined by the cat herder himself, Andrew/Frank.
Hello.
Or the inventor of the Fisto, the rocket Fisto. Sex toy industries.
Yeah, well, it went well so far.
I'm so waiting for an email from a sex company, be like, can we have one of your fists?
What on earth are you talking about?
We're talking about the David Vinderstall RC Explorer rocket knife, but with a fist.
Right, this makes a lot more sense.
Into a pumpkin.
3 minutes in and we're X-rated already.
Yeah.
Oh, no, okay. Okay, I can show you something nice. I went and got a soya drink, and it says like "Do not open" on the lid, like that. And then when you open it, it's got like a little ghost, and it says "Boo." How cute is that?
Have you gone vegan, Jack? Has Tony converted you?
Yeah, I mean, I basically
Tony had some help, I think.
I'm the most unluckiest vegan in the world, basically.
You don't want to be vegan.
No, I don't. I said to him, there's only two ways I'll ever become vegan. One, if I get Vicky back, which I haven't. And two is if Tony leaves me alone. And
Neither of those things have happened, so...
Yeah. Apparently your mic isn't working on Zencaster.
Whose?
Yours.
Mine?
Yes.
Oh, right.
It might just be, if you go in the top right-hand corner...
It says recording in progress.
Yeah, it's not recording anything, though. You might have to click the settings and change which audio...
How many drone pilots does it take?
Yeah.
I know, we're supposed to be like the edge of technology, and we can't even fucking click a link.
It's the bleeding edge, that's all.
Falling off the edge.
That's what I think.
I don't have any sense.
Loads of people in the chat this evening. I mean, there's some guy called the Tone Star 1, for starters.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, I know, some nutter. Got Mr. Thrust, got Zero, got Green Patches, got Striker, got Anonymous FPV, Kyle Jones 2 Bloods FPV, got Davy Boy, Kyle Jones, Scotty FPV, Crash Test Dummy, Dale Kennedy. I mean, Scotty FPV. Oh, got CKND, got Rob Britton. Who else we got? Loads of people. Hello, everyone.
Ash.
Hello.
What's wrong with you? Like, why did you want to go on Let's Drone Out?
You've seen an episode, and yet you decided that this was what you would like to be.
After last week, how could I possibly say no? I think everyone was watching it last week.
Andrew took it down. It was that bad.
I did notice. I was waiting for the replay actually, but when I saw there was only highlights, I thought it was a fun show. I think it was good.
I'm so tempted to dye my hair blue. That was so funny. I think that was my favourite, the highlighter and the dyed hair blue. And also, I'm like really pleased that Tony looks 12, and the police are going to start pulling him over again, thinking some sort of midget child's driving a car.
I think you should put the entire episode back online. I think it was brilliant.
Frank. Tell him why that's not a good idea.
Why isn't it there? What is the reason? I didn't get to catch it all. I watched a little bit of it, and it didn't seem too bad to me. Was there something at the end that I missed?
In the highlights that I just sped everything up like 60 times, and I still had to censor a whole section. So.
Oh shit! My Hangout thing was still on. Whoops. Oh dear. Yes, NJ, I can still see you. I wasn't ill the next day, but Zero. No, Dudley boy, I wasn't. I stayed up watching a dwarf and drinking squash. Yesterday I was very ill, but no one wants to hear about that. Grow a moustache, then I'll look even more like a sex offender. I mean, at the moment, like Vicky's lost my hairbrush, so I can't actually brush my own hair. So, like, if you're wondering why Jack looks really dishevelled, that's why. I mean, I'm 30 and I can't brush my own hair. I've like failed.
It's looking unusually tidy in yours, actually, Jack. I can actually, I can see the floor.
I don't know. There is like PlayStation stuff down there and crap.
Oh, and little spots, and that's not even drone stuff. Like,
yeah, I know.
Usually, your room's just like covered in like carbon fiber and bits of solder.
There is a pile of stuff I don't want to deal with, which is that.
Look at that desk. There's like a whole like 3 pounds worth of space on that.
I know, it's amazing. You don't want to have a look what's below the screen.
Are you like preparing to do a stream of your build or something? Like,
I'm a little bit scared. There was talk about that from you being like the on the desk thing. Trouble is with on the desk thing was it would go on for hours and we wouldn't achieve anything. Like no other. I've done shows. I've done bad shows. I've done the worst live show known to man in this comic book shop. And and like that achieved more than on the workbench or whatever the hell I called that thing. Tony, it was awful, wasn't it?
I quite enjoyed it.
Davey Boy wants more Jack and Tony build videos. So
yeah,
no, because it just makes me want
Green
to kill
Patches
him.
Agrees.
I agree.
I think we should do one Saturday, Jack. I've got a build to do.
No,
it's being cut, and actually, my new frame is just arrived in the UK, so I'm hoping to get it tomorrow or Saturday.
My vision's smeary.
We could do a live build, Jack. Just me and you.
Oh God.
Fun.
But without
good old times. Uncensored.
Andy, you're working on a couple of build videos at the moment. I think you said and congrats with your 40K as well.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, just because we've got about 2 hours of light now, so I'm deciding to do some build videos which take longer, and they're really, I don't know if you've ever done one yourself, but they're just horrendous to edit. They take such a long time. Like I done a build video of this 2-inch Flex RC Ascent. It took I started it at 9 p.m, which is a bad thing to do anyway. It's a bad time to start. I finished filming at 3 in the morning, and then I've got 6 hours of stuff to edit down to about 8 minutes. So yeah, it takes a long time.
I'd leave it for hours. People like it.
Leave it for
I get up in the morning and have my breakfast, and all my subs come up. Like I watch NJ's this morning, yours, and it feels homely.
Yeah.
I like it.
I guess also if you're building something, it's nice to watch a video that's real time rather than something that's edited, because then you can, in theory, follow it as you're building the quad.
I unfortunately don't have a house that's quiet enough to have 3 hours of peace before someone drags a bin outside or starts. We've got the house.
It's not a bin. It's it's someone else's home. Look, we all know you're up north. You like moving around. Like the bin's a caravan. Stop trying to pretend that they take the bins out where you are and you do recycling. We all know you have to burn it to keep warm, burn your trash to keep warm in the winter, or you get all your paper and you pile it in the corner and sleep in it like a hamster. You're northern.
I wish it was that posh, honestly.
You've got a room?
We missed you last week, Andy.
Oh, I missed NJ and Andrew. Like,
And
where were you?
NJ.
Oh God,
NJ was rocking out something.
I've been so super busy, and then next week I'm away for 10 days around Holland. So yeah, it's a crazy time. Although there's every chance I might actually be around at that time to join the stream from Holland.
That'd be awesome.
No way. Are we going to watch you be high? I'd love to be it. Guys.
Look, granted, Holland is small, but it isn't all the red light district of Amsterdam. Just saying, there are some quite.
Mate, you're a rock star. You're meant to be on drugs, not me. I'm a twat. Am I allowed to say twat? There's twat that offensive. Hang on, let me just Google the word twat.
I think you can get away with that.
And while Jack's distracted,
oh no, definitely can't. Yeah, sorry.
Ash, we've
oh no, I can hit or crunch. Sorry.
Ash, we brought you on to invite you on, but how did you get started with the whole Droningon.co thing?
So about 2 years ago, there was a big fiasco with a crowdfund drone called Xano. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Nothing to do with FPV racing or anything like that, but it was one of the first small micro racing, well, not racing quads, but video photo capture kind of drones.
Kind of a selfie drone type thing, isn't it?
Ones, and it dragged a lot of people in. It had a really flashy promotional video that got everybody excited, as they do, and thousands of people backed it, and basically it was crap, and it didn't deliver. The company then folded. Yeah, it was. Well, I think it was the Europe's biggest crowdfunder that failed, actually. So I was one of the. I mean, I was kind of fairly new to drones back then. It was quite some time ago.
Were you talking about the Lily?
No, way before that. Xano. Little company in Wales called Talking Technology.
Little where?
Over the bridge in Wales.
Oh, Wales. Oh, there's your problem.
So that failed. I started a group for people to basically join and discuss and try. Backers refunded and helped people to try and find alternative drones, and then that really just spawned out to a community and a group of people. So we named it Droningon, and it went up from that really. And then the group got bigger and bigger, and I started writing editorials, and then companies wanted to send drones for review, and a lot of crowdfund manufacturers wanted to send me drones, which is probably a big mistake because a lot of them weren't very good. Honest to my own good, so if it's rubbish, I've always said it's rubbish, and it went on from there really.
Cool. And somehow you've ended up here.
Yeah, you asked me last week, and how could I possibly say no?
We're sorry.
This has got to be the peak of his YouTube career, surely.
Absolutely. I'm so honoured.
Andy, you know, it was the peak of yours, and look, you're back every week now, man.
Yeah, now I'm sort of in the trough part.
You can't climb out now.
He's
There's
probably
water steam.
stimulated. I love how he just fucking rips us and then takes a swig of his drink. Doesn't even snigger. Oh,
we all know that's not water.
It is water.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned a lesson from last week's episode, and from now on, it's only ever going to be water.
Don't drink.
Whatever. We all know you
bought
White Lightning and Special Bro.
Absolutely.
I liked Jack last week. He was actually nice to me. He's normally.
I do actually like you. You are actually a friend.
Yeah, but
you know that. Like,
you know, you're just horrible to me permanently.
I'm not. Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
I got to the point where Tony was shaving his goatee off, and I was like, "What am I watching?" It sort of became like a special needs comic relief kind of thing.
It definitely was special needs. We did put
Very.
that in the title.
Yeah, it was fun. How much did you raise in the end?
20 quid.
Jack's 20 quid.
That's it. No
What-
one ever.
And did
no
something
one
happen? Something happen with the eyebrows? Did I hear as well? Did you? Did
Oh, it was gonna.
oh, it was gonna.
Yeah. Tony was gonna shave one, and I was gonna shave my one.
The opposite.
Yeah, that would have been so funny. Like, if
I've
someone had
never
donated, that would have been like, I would have.
That would have to be 100 quid at least.
No, fucking no way. 50 at the most.
I couldn't do it for 50. I'll pay you 50 now if you've done yours.
No, I don't know. Like, I hear that it takes months to grow back, if
Yeah,
at all.
exactly. That's why I said 100. You
And I haven't got big bushy eyebrows either. I've got quite effeminate, like, simple baby eyebrows. I'd rather grow that moustache. So I look like a sex offender. Have the cops been pulling you over thinking a child's
You're not
driving
far
your
off,
car?
Jack.
I'm not. Twice, 23. You sick fuck.
Swearing, can I just say, Jack's
Yeah, I know.
ready
I
for
know.
the
Jack's
podcast.
already swore. I know.
So Ash, tell me what were you doing before you got into the droning stuff? Was there other areas of RC you're into, planes, cars, anything like that, or was this kind of your first main venture?
Hang on. Sorry, NJ just asked. Let me translate. Did you have a life before this shit?
Is the
I love
life
that
classy? Yeah, I've been flying everything: planes, gliders, helicopters, nitro, electric since about 12. So yeah, I've always been into crashing things. Now I try not to crash them, but yeah, love it.
I'm guessing as well that you have like an interest in video production, because like when I see your reviews, I think that's how I should be doing mine. They're always like really well filmed and great lighting and just really well presented. So I'm guessing that you have like interest in video production and stuff as well, or is that sort of a hobby as well?
Before I started doing this, so it was all very new for me, and I hated being on camera as well. And so I cringe when I watch my first video, absolutely cringe. But no, I've learned a lot doing it, and I'm always trying to make ultimately it's not a flashy video. So, I think everyone's got a different review style, and for me, if I just put the review up there, I wouldn't enjoy doing it as much because I love doing the editing and stuff like that. I'm not editing this.
Yeah. I hate the editing part, so that's really rare.
Yeah. It's a good angle, Ash. It looks, as Andy says, they look really, really professional. So we collectively hate you a little bit. No, they're really, really professional looking. So did you go out? Did you really go out on researching your lighting setups and stuff, or did you just go, right, I think this is the stuff I need, let's go for it?
I just bought a camera, a GoPro, strapped it to my head, and that's about it. I mean, literally, some of my early videos, there's so much, I just listen back to them now, and the audio is rubbish because I've got the camera halfway across the room, and I just didn't think about stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it takes a long time, editing these videos. I'll be sent a really, really cheap, crappy little drone for review, and the video will take me 8 hours to film and edit. And I think afterwards, was it really worth it when the drone actually wasn't that good? But actually it is, because if it saves someone else from buying it, or if it saves 50 people from buying it, then it's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do enjoy it. Keeps me busy. But we've got a 6-month-old baby now, and I must say it's thrown my whole reviewing and editing cycle to absolutely out the window. It's like Andy said earlier, trying to get a quiet moment in the house is almost impossible.
Yeah, that's the most difficult part for me. Yeah,
definitely.
I saw your article recently on the Snap drone and all the stuff that's going on with that. Have you got hold of one of the pot dealers' drones of choice, or have you just sort of read about it and got a hold of some information on it?
After Zano, I tried to focus. So I've got the review channel on YouTube, but I use the droningon.co website to write articles on any other crowdfund drones. So anything that's currently being crowdfunded on the market, like Qdrone or Cellfly or Snap as well is another one, I try and write about it, look at the specs, see if it's viable, and just really try and help backers to understand if it's worth investing in, because there are unfortunately lots of people out there who are sat just waiting to give away their money to these campaigns. Snap was one that I always actually had hope for, but they seem to have been slightly distracted and are now struggling to get the drone out to the backers, and there's thousands of people waiting for it, and it started looking really good. Now it's looking a little bit dodgy. The drones that actually have shipped to people are crashing and flying out of control, and worryingly the CNN have just been granted a waiver from the FAA, the heads of the public, so it's a bit of a worry. So I'm following that one really closely.
Yeah, because maybe if it was like a tiny whoop sized thing, then it wouldn't be so much of a problem, but it's a fairly chunky piece of kit that hasn't been very thoroughly checked.
Yeah, that's a 1.5 pound drone, and their argument is, well, the props are shrouded, it's fully enclosed props, and it uses Formula One technology to break up on impact. Well, that's of little consequence to someone if it lands on their head.
Break up on impact on your head. Yeah,
exactly. They also claimed that it's got auto rotation.
Bullshit! There's absolutely no chance of that at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a drone can't auto-rotate if it's got no power. In the event of a failure, how is a drone going to auto-rotate and land softly? It won't. It might fly, it might drop down a little bit slower, but it's not going to have a cushioned fall.
Well, for a start, they'd have to be almost completely frictionless in terms of the ability to rotate. And if they're a fixed pitch, they'd have to stop the direction they're turning and reverse in the other direction, by which time they would have fallen probably 1,000 feet in a couple of seconds. So
exactly.
that's just utter arse.
And that's also on the assumption that the drone even falls level.
Yeah,
if there's no power to the rotors, it's just going to be flopping all over the place. So I think they're struggling, and a bit like Lily, the sort of signs are there right now. I think that's a company in distress. I think they're running out of money to produce enough drones to get out to their backers. So keep an eye on Snap from Vantage Robotics. We'll see.
Yeah, we're soon going to need a be aware section of Let's Drone Out, I think, to sort of warn people of all these shark-like companies and what they're up to. It's not good.
There's a lot of them. There's another one is Qdrone, which is going on at the moment. That's KU drone. Horrific little drone.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, thousands of people bought it. I warned them all that it was going to be crap, and it is. It just doesn't work. And the other one is Cellfly, which is another one that's not even got out to backers yet, but it's looking painfully bad. It's just.
I think we should do one.
No. We already had.
I'm having nothing to do with it.
Come on, we could call it Let's Drone Out Drone. Jack, we could have your face on it or something like that.
No, it's bad enough. I've heard a rumour that there's my face is on the Radio C stickers. I think Fab did it to annoy me.
Well, he probably got that dead on then.
So like, yeah, I might have to sue him.
Can you use your likeness?
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be.
Oh, I don't even show up. Yeah, there is. Yeah, look, I'm going to kill him.
Particularly over the past week or so, there does seem to have been a lot of
dead man
drama in the drone world.
Oh, God, that is.
Are we going there already? Are we going there already?
I don't know.
Actually.
Come on, let's go there. Come on, Frank, carry on. I know where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows where this is going, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so this is. I mean,
are we talking about the drama on Tony's new Facebook page?
That's where we're going.
This is my worst nightmare. Tony has got a group. Like, what is going on in the Trump's in charge? Oh my God, Tony! Who thought any of you, right, idiots that join Tony's cult-like mentality? He thinks the Earth's flat. Oh my God! Literally, you're going to be drinking the Kool-Aid. It is. Oh, you should have named it Heaven's Back Door. I can't even
Shall we
swear
talk
enough.
about why the group was created?
Yeah, what it was created because I left Rotor Riot because of the what
Yeah, and guess what?
happened.
No one cared. No one cared that you left.
Yes, they did.
No one's
160
noticed.
people cared because of my new group.
I think
Yeah, but they
Rotor
haven't
Riot-
left Rotor Riot.
I think they're going to start to notice people dropping though, because there's a lot of people that love that Riot element. But
Yeah,
the reality is that, I mean, I got sick of the posts in that group and I left because it just.
yeah, it got a bit silly, didn't it? In that group, they got a lot of followers, but it just got silly. I mean, quite a lot of my mates said, "Oh, I left half a year ago. I don't know why you're still on there." And I was just like, "Yeah, well, I'm not anymore because of what they've done." I've got friends. Half of my friends think it was all right, and the other half think it was a dumbass move. And I think it was a dumbass move. What do you guys feel about it?
So have we actually said what this is all about yet?
No,
So we're talking
I'm
about
waiting for someone else to say it.
the Rotor Riot bridge flight and video, where they went out to somewhere in Canada. I can't remember where.
Bridge.
Flew around a big
bridge too
suspension
far.
bridge. Yeah,
A bridge
exactly.
too far.
Bridge over troubled water. And there was lots of traffic on it, and it's been taken pretty controversially as to whether it was, it didn't go wrong. It all turned out in the end. So does that mean it's fine, or is it hashtag ruining the hobby? So it's kind of the two sides of it: is no victim, no crime versus ruining the hobby.
Let's take each an individual point of view on it.
Do you want me to
NJ,
straw poll it? Hang on.
NJ first. Talk about it. Have you seen it? What are
I
your
haven't.
thoughts?
I've been a little bit outside of all of that, so I'm probably not the person to come to yet. I'm collecting opinions and thoughts. So you guys talk, and I'll
Okay,
have a think.
Jack, what are your thoughts?
Oh god.
Let's go first with Jack. Right, everyone, this is a sweary moment, maybe.
Oh god.
No, come on. What are your real honest thoughts?
It's a bit of a bad end move, really. Right, for a start, it's in Canada. 2, Chaz lost his mind. 3, you put that quad through someone's windscreen, and then Rotor Riot's in shit. TBS is in shit. Tommy's going to prison, and he's a pretty boy. He's like NJ. Do you know what I mean? They're just gonna have a field day with his butthole. Like I tell you what, man. If I was in prison, you'd be like, I'd think like all my Christmases come at once. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want.
Oh my god! There's always a spin on it with you, Jack.
Yeah.
Isn't there?
I wouldn't want for anything more other than hand cream or Vaseline.
There's always good from evil, isn't there, Jack? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like,
All right,
I mean,
we've had enough now, Jack. You
No,
can
but-
shift now.
Canada, right? Canada, where they just like made the rules really strict.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't we follow pretty much their rules in Canada?
Yeah, we're part of the Commonwealth. Yes, Tony.
Exactly. So
Queens on their money.
bad move.
What? Because
No.
it affects us, it's therefore a stupid idea.
Yeah, of course. Look, this is coming from like Preston came on a show where I was the typical Kiss fanboy. I mean, what do you expect? It's Let's Drone Out. No one is safe. I don't know. I mean, the other side of it is that he is a professional, and they did have a clear view, plenty of spotters.
My thing is that anything can go wrong at any time, though. Like, has anyone driven down the road and had a blowout on their tyre? A prop burst, an ESC go. Things happen,
Well,
Or interference as well.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to that same thing that I've talked about before. You have on drones, just as you do on lots of them on helicopters, a lot less of them on planes. You have single points of failure, and that's something that's out of your control. You can have one ESC just decide one of the FETs wants to shit itself and blow up, and that's it. It's out of your control. You don't know the QC. Even the best makes, things slip through QC, things can happen. You can't just 100% trust it to the point of doing things that are potentially dangerous. I mean, bandos, places where you can't break something that's already broken. You're out the way, you're not around people. But doing it something like that with so much attention, so much publicity, and so many people watching that channel, personally, I think that's a bit of a silly move, because you're drawing attention to something where, you know, there are a lot of people that hang on everything these guys do, and they think, wow, that's awesome, I want to go out and try it. And there's people that aren't as competent, there's people who maybe aren't as meticulous about pre-flight checking and looking after their gear, and you just can't really, I just find that my personal opinion is that's a little bit irresponsible. So yeah, that's just my outlook on it. Obviously there's probably a whole lot of reading and listening to lots of different sides, but yeah, I think it's kind of it's a bit of a silly thing to do.
I totally agree with you. I think it was silly.
It's not the clever. Hang on, let me straw poll it.
Good publicity, because any publicity is good publicity. But
yeah, but the trouble is, Rotor Riot is founded on Riot. You know, it's founded on problems, drama, breaking the rules and going against the regulations. And
if you look at kind of the stuff that Chad Kappa has done, you know, flight test was very much family, the kids, getting them all interested, STEM, all that kind of stuff, and then the Rotor Riot is then the kind of teenage rebellious counterculture kind of thing, and that this entirely goes into that. I think,
and it's not good because we've already seen videos on YouTube of kids trying to do the building dives, doing it from a rooftop, and scrappy, horrific flying, worse than mine. And in crowded cities, so some amateur's going to be trying to do a bridge dive, and it's going to go horribly wrong and land on a windscreen. None of us want to sound boring or dull or miserable or party poopers, but ultimately, if something does happen,
you're on next drone out, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Reminded me of last week.
I know what you're saying, man. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we're not like that.
How are you not like that? Coming from the man who hoovers his washing machine and heats his wine up in the microwave.
Who does that?
That would be Tony.
Cheers.
God, you're the type of person who gets his name stitched onto his slippers. No one wants to steal those slippers. You live alone. Whose slippers are they going to be? Of course they're yours. Oh, God.
Do you know what? I should buy some white socks for these, shouldn't I?
Oh my God! Please just kill me. There's a straw poll in the chat. So you got ruining the hobby.
I want to ask Andy RC's opinion on this.
Or all dives matter.
Andy, what do you reckon? Have you seen it? And what?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think it's a really strange one because I can't work out whether it was an accident that this happened. Because when you've got all of those guys with such big personalities and stuff, sort of, it's kind of like the comedy scene a few years ago, where it was just like, the person who could shock the most was the most funniest kind of thing. So is it just that sort of? It's gotten to the point where people just competing for the most craziest stunt, or was it just that? It just shouldn't have been in there, and they didn't really know that was what was going to happen. I think is the only thing that I would say is, like, as someone who owns a YouTube channel, is somebody posted a link, and there was like a news segment, and did you guys see that? Where like a news reporter guy went to the bridge, and I was thinking, if this was me, I think I'm in so much trouble.
I would have more poo coming out of my butthole.
Yeah.
Is that possible, Jack? Is that actually possible?
I mean, that is, I would actually have to have food being funneled in Because
You have to remember as well that like I don't think Chad's completely in charge of all that either. He's in charge of it, but I think he sort of lets it be kind of thing, doesn't he? I think Tommy does a lot of does a lot of that. So I think
I think also the fact he was there and filming and then spent the time and money editing it and posting it on the YouTube channel. I don't think he can argue that. Oh, it just happened. So
his name is credited. Yeah.
I think. Sorry, Ash, go on.
Go on. Oh, I also find it odd as well that Chad Nowak originally seemed to leave the group because of stunts like this. So I'm surprised that they're still doing it.
Yeah.
They're going to lose a great pilot and a great personality like Chad.
He's actually posted that he thinks it was all right.
That baffles. I'm confused about that.
Same here.
I think he's happier now. Steele left.
Oh yeah.
I think he's friends with Tommy and trusts Tommy's mentality rather than Steele being like, "Fuck it, I don't care." Because if you notice, Tommy's done that, but he doesn't sort of, And also, the other thing with Chad is that he's also preemptively contacted Transport Canada as well.
See, it's almost like it was planned.
Well, I'm thinking back to the building dive when it turned out it wasn't immediately obvious, but it turned out they had shut a road or something when they were flying down a road. So I'm wondering whether maybe there is more to this.
Well, it definitely wasn't shut this time.
No, but maybe there were some sort of extenuating factors that made it safer than it seems from the video. Maybe.
Yeah, we need like an official thing, and I think there's been like radio silence from their side on it, hasn't there? I think the video got taken because I actually
you can still watch it.
Yeah,
it's gone back up, is it?
Well, yeah, it's gone back up. I found out about it from Bruce Simpson.
Have they removed some of it?
Nice original video.
You can't do that.
Don't get me wrong; it was a great video, but.
No, absolutely.
I still think it was dangerous. If there was no cars on there, I would have still been more as impressed.
Well, what I want to know before sort of, I want to know whether it was intentional. Was it meant to create what it has? Us here talking about it because that's, that if that was planned, that can be seen as a good thing. Like you say, any sort of publicity is good publicity. Or was it just a mistake and they didn't realize it would cause this much? Because like sometimes I'll post a video and like if I've flown a little bit too close to a house and someone will comment on it, I'm like, I didn't, that was I'm not in, I'm sure that it wasn't their intention.
I think the problem is as well that we're in a really funny part of the kind of exponential growth of the hobby. It really is accelerating pretty quickly now, and while it's growing that fast, there's still kind of not. I mean, as far as the FAA, the CAA are concerned, this is just a big pain in the arse for them. They've got far bigger things to be getting on with, far more important things to be getting on with than the drone regulation stuff, and that is the truth. There's so much that they have to deal with in general and commercial aviation. This thing's just a big pain for them. But the speed at which it's growing, this is a fragile time for the hobby. And that's the bit that worries me, is that because it's so fragile, you get things like this. It's ammunition for the media. And right now, for the media, drone-related incidents, however ridiculous they are, drones are a buzzword and the media absolutely run away with it. I mean, one thing Bruce said was, what if you just go down to the brass facts about everything that's going on, what data has been presented on how many drone related deaths there are around the world? No matter how much this is growing, no matter how big it's getting, there are still 0 drone related deaths. These things have to be put into perspective. But it is, as I said, there is an element of this being still quite a fragile time, and we have to be a little bit careful to try and protect the hobby by not doing things that are going to evoke the media to respond, and they'll jump on anything at the minute. We all know that. So I just say have fun, but just think and try and be as responsible as you can so that we can protect this. I don't want to be 10 years down the road and find out we're all down to flying tiny whoops in a hall because that's all the law will let us do. That'd be really sad. So,
I think Rotor Riot are missing a trick, and I sort of touched on it when we had Chad on the show, because the original reason I was interested in Rotor Riot is their sort of mission statement was kind of to be like a Top Gear for drones. And I thought, wow, that's a really good idea. But to me, it's not become that at all. I think doing all this bridge diving and stuff, to be edgy or whatever. And I think Bruce was kind of right in that you don't really need to do that. I think what it's become is kind of like an amalgamation of these vloggers, and it's kind of like a vlog. Whereas I think they could take all of the latest tech, all of the latest drones. They could set up a track that never changes, a bit like how Top Gear does. They can say they've got all the top pilots. They can put them around the track. They can say, yeah, this is the fastest. They can do drag races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're not doing any of that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe that's just not the direction that they wanted to go in. But that's what I want to watch. I'd love to watch that. Right?
They done that with David,
I would prefer.
you remember that?
Yeah, they actually did do that originally, didn't they? With David, they set up a track, didn't they?
Yeah. It should have been in the shape of a penis, but
Doesn't it
I'm
say?
really disappointed with them.
Doesn't it say on the start of the Rotor Riot thing, fly safely or something like that? And then they put that out, and I was just like, that ain't.
Do you remember the episode? Was it on Rotor Riot or was it just on Chad's own channel? Where they're blindfolding people and getting them to fly different quads, not knowing which quad they were flying.
That was Rotor Riot very early on, I think. They turned up at a race, didn't they? That's right. They built. It was the Raggy quad, wasn't it? They took the Raggy frame and another one. Yeah, that was more
all that kind of thing as well, wasn't it?
That was more sort of a Top Gear sort of thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
I remember one where they were trying to fly drunk in a warehouse. I mean, at least they're in a warehouse. They can't do any harm with the drone flying off, other than to themselves. But the problem is they like the drama. They're never going to move to anything.
That's it. That Facebook page. It's a challenging read because it's all about the. It's kind of like banter in a school or something, isn't it?
Final Glide's chicken sandwich video. I can't remember that. Can any of you remember that?
No.
Is it the one where he punches out to about 10,000 foot and then comes back down?
Yeah, I remember.
And flies around. See, that I can handle that because he's in the middle of Australia. It's massive. Like you can punch out and you wouldn't see a plane or anything 1,000 million miles
it's
away.
Australia, nothing.
Exactly, and you can fly around a bloody campfire and things like that. I can handle, but when you're bridge diving, when there's people going over with kids in their car and stuff like that, and I've had mine and props have snapped through the flight, and ESCs have gone wrong and things.
Yeah, like I said, single points of failure. It's just one of those things. Richard Harwood in the chat actually said something quite probably something we can all relate to. I think maybe the first drone-related death is if my missus finds out I bought another one. Never a truer word said.
Only 20 quid.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, only cost 20 quid. See, another package has turned up. Yeah, I didn't pay
20 quid. Always.
The amount of people I know who have faked invoices so their missus won't kill them. Like,
what, 20 quid?
Wow, that's an extra mile.
That is like.
I've not thought of that.
What's this thing that says DJI on the side? Oh yeah, it was 20 quid.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it.
It's a copy.
It's a sample I've been reviewing.
Yeah.
Well done though, 40,000 and the RC.
Oh, thanks very much.
Can we everyone?
Yes, golf clap.
It's been a long road though. That's like 3 years of collecting people. So yeah.
That's not a long time though. That's not a long time to get to 40k. That's really good.
It probably took me a year. It's funny. It's cumulative. It probably took me a year to get to like 1,000. you know. But that's just how it is. It's like a snowball effect, you know. So all you other
Yeah, we
guys,
can't all be as sexy as NJ.
Sorry, say again.
We can't all be as
You're
sexy.
sexy again.
NJ's channel's doing great. I think coming up to 8,000 NJ. I think.
Yeah, I think it's just about to turn.
Wow, that's
turn
good.
8.
Last
Yeah,
time
that's
it
great.
was down. It was down in.
I bet you any money you like, it's quite a substantial female viewing.
No, occasionally I look at the YouTube stats, and it's always like it's something like 1.5%.
Mine's the same.
1.5 females.
It's a shame. Yeah.
Mine's 4.9 female.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe if I wear lower cut tops like Andy RC, maybe I can boost that up a little bit.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Mine's less. Mine's 0.8%.
Shit, sorry about that, guys. I just kicked a load of tape off my table.
Got too excited, did you?
Mr. Frost has just hit 500. He's beating me, but he's only been on YouTube for 10 years.
Man, did anyone see what he said earlier on? He goes, hang on, there's something about his missus.
Should you read this out, Jack?
He's probably in his shed building something. And
No, honestly, it is so funny. Like, I was
Can I
crying.
just say, while we're on the subject of talking about, you know, the percentage of female subscribers, is the all-female episode happening
next week,
next week?
Is Vicky presenting it as well?
next week it's on.
Great.
Touchy
I
subject.
refuse to be
No
on.
response from Jack there.
I can't be on. I cannot. Because I'm just going to be like NGFBV. Me and Tony fancy you. You know, like, you know, just like me and Tony are just like staring at her.
FPV
awkwardly.
Princess and Zoe Snumber, hopefully, but she is really, really busy at the moment. But she has said that she will come on, so I'm hoping we can get them 3 girls on because they're standout YouTube channels to me.
Yeah, I think Zoe posted. She did a big post on Facebook, didn't she? About
Yeah, she did about the DLs.
about
DRL.
DRL.
Yeah.
Zoe, the 3D pilot.
Yeah,
That's it.
Oh, her flying is just unbelievable, especially when you tune
know.
into a video and you don't know it's Zoe initially, and then you see the quad flying in a way that you wouldn't normally expect it to.
Yeah. All of
incredible.
a sudden, you're like, oh, it's going to crash. And then it just hovers there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Zoe.
I
Okay.
don't know how she gets her head around that whole arming mid-throttle stick, and blows my mind. I've tried
You
inverted before.
Mr. Thrust, Lamo, I told my wife about heating the wine in the microwave. She nearly spat her wine everywhere. Bloody sacrilege, she said. What the shit is he thinking?
Well,
Then I had to bring it up again when our friends came up.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frost. Is it red wine?
So funny.
They're probably boiling white wine, knowing them lot up north.
Oh,
Sorry,
they're not
Mr. Frost.
Northerners, they're Scottish.
Well, what's that if it ain't north? For God's sake,
No, totally different animal, mate.
they're probably
We built a wall to
doing
keep
white
them out.
wine.
We just
Well,
take
it's
the piss
red
out of
wine.
that.
I like red wine to be the same temperature as I am.
Look,
You
Scots.
know what I mean?
difference between Scots and Northerners. Scots, the men and women are hairy. Northern, just the women.
You're on your own there. You're on your own there.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to Jack. You're there you go. C words.
If anyone's around in London, I'll put the call out again. Around in London on the 15th of November, so a couple of weeks' time, and wants to come and fly in a
Is it
cage. with us.
15th and 16th?
Well, so we're in the Excel Centre on the 15th and 16th. But if anyone wants to come and fly a tiny whoop in a cage with us on the 15th,
Wow, I've only booked the 15th.
well, we'll survive.
Is this a
Yeah.
commercial
okay.
run show or something?
Yeah,
I saw
this is a
something
commercial
about
UAV show at the Excel Centre. Yeah, so 15th and 16th. But on the 15th, there's a drinks reception from 5 o'clock till I think it's about an hour, where we take over the demo zone for an hour and are going to be whooping it.
And drinking. Well, we're definitely crashing at yours then.
it. Whilst you're there, there's a pretty cool drone called. It's made by a company called iMaze. It's like a drone in a ball. So you can basically crash it into anything, crash it into a wall, and it just bounces off. Pretty cool idea.
Jack needs one of them.
I'd be good at crashing that.
Sorry, I'm just trying to apologise to all the Scottish and Northern people. Like, they are fucking ripping me in the chat. They're just like, I've never. Oh man, I'm actually slightly sorry. Jesus.
Brothers, he's in the chat. What's up, brothers?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about this thing that the CAA are organising regarding
droning out's going?
Oh, really?
Droning on.
Yeah.
Droning out is you, Jack.
Oh yeah. Why are you named so close to? It must ruin your Google search.
Can I want to admit something here, right?
Come on.
Oh, no.
When I first found Let's Drone Out, I thought that it was Droning On's podcast because the names are so similar. I thought, and there was a time when Jack didn't have his camera on, and I thought it was Ash's voice. But I thought Jack's.
I definitely don't have 4.5 women watching me.
I thought Jack's voice sounded like how Ash would talk.
Jack, for my next review, I'm going to do my next review with Jack's voice.
Give me a sentence and you move your mouth to it. What's your intro like? Tell me your intro.
Hi, I'm Ash from Droning On.
Right, ready? 3. Hi, I'm Ash from Droning On. No, you got to mouth it. No,
I did.
The lag on here is not going to work.
The lag, and also whoever's speaking comes up on the big screen, so it doesn't.
Right, hang on,
right.
no, present him.
I know what we can do, Frank. Frank, you've got to you know what you've got to do. Present Ash.
Oh no, I'm feeling the pressure now.
That's it. No, all you've got to do is open your mouth and shut it.
All Jack's got to do is say it like half a second later.
Okay, right.
It'd be like one of them Chinese karate things. Hi, what a
So racist. Oscar Lang, we're sorry. We are actually friends with you. Great honour.
Oh, do it.
This is more controversial than Rotor Riot. This is.
I'm going back to rehab.
This is going to be on the news.
NJ's going back to rehab.
It's safer in there.
I think we all need it after this.
No. Right, on 3.
Go on then.
3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Ash from Let's Drone On.
That was way too slow.
Brilliant.
It worked, kind of.
I
think
That Kung Fu movie, man.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Andy, you were talking about the CAA thing. Are you going to that CAA event?
I don't think so, but yeah, I've always been a big fan of Simon Newton. I think he's been organising it, hasn't he? So I thought that was a really interesting move because, you know, not so long ago we were sort of all talking about, you know, these new drone rules and regulations and stuff. But the fact that it seems that the CAA are coming together with like clubs and stuff, I mean, that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it? I think it's on invite only as well, isn't it?
As long as they listen.
Yeah, well,
it is. There's only 150 spaces, but I'm going to it, and there's a +1. So if anyone wants to meet me there and use my ticket, basically I've got 2.
Yeah, it's like 11th of November, isn't it? I think something like that.
It is,
Where is it? Oh, it's down south though, isn't it? It's
Salisbury.
That's it. Yeah, it's like just above Bournemouth kind of area, above like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Salisbury.
Salisbury is not near Bournemouth, is it?
No, it's not, is it?
No, I don't think so.
It reminds me of that David.
That's how north
Free Post.
is.
It's somewhere in Middle Earth.
No, it is north of Bournemouth.
It's somewhere in
way north of Bournemouth, but yeah.
North of Bournemouth. Yeah, it's kind of close to you guys. You guys.
You're
could
not
get down
helping
there.
yourself, Andy RC. You know that. I'm just imagining hairy hobbit feet now. You northern.
You're just putting me in with the Scottish guys, aren't you?
No. I'm sure they haven't got that.
We're all gonna gang up on you and
burn my house with me in it.
Binary Throttle has put in the chat in the Essex area tomorrow night. They're trying some micro and whoop racing around a big pirate ship in a climbing frame in a park near there.
Isn't there a law against that?
Well, he's testing his wireless lighting system, I think.
Yeah, Gary's put together a really impressive looking lighting system.
Yeah, because I've seen some of his Facebook posts where he's been like nights and nights soldering XT60s to about 100 lights. So, good on you, Gav. I won't be coming, but I'll be watching in anticipation to see how good it.
Did you call him Gary as well? Frank?
Yeah, from Mini Air Show.
That is Gary, isn't it?
Tony called him Gary. For some reason that I never quite understood.
If I call someone something, it sticks.
Yeah. If I'm Frank, it's Gary.
Frank.
I've noticed everyone calls me the C word now, you arsehole. In this chat. Like,
Oh, it's not because you are then.
maybe. I'm not that bad, am I?
Oh, no.
Lol wankers, that's what he puts. Yeah, thanks for shouting that out.
Yeah, we shout it out for you, and that's what we get back.
I know. I love our listeners, by the way.
Cheers, Gary.
Moving on.
Have you got anything else planned coming up, Ash?
I don't think. No, I was going to go to the commercial show. I might.
But we're going to be there, so steer clear of that lot.
Be there, so be careful.
What are you guys doing then? Are you there as this group or?
Yeah, we doing a bit of a favour for Hidden Valley because they were going to be there doing this demo section, but because they're still in a kind of twilight zone of not knowing what the hell's going on, they needed someone to fill in for them, so we've kind of stepped in.
Cool.
That is bottom of the barrel when you ask Let's Drone out to do something for you. That is like, do you know what I mean? It is like, you might as well try and get the Ghostbusters back together.
Should we dress up as Ghostbusters and go?
No. God, what is wrong with him? Honestly, dying to be Back to the Future.
Here's another story that's been in the news today about a drone that was knocked out of the sky at a football match by a toilet roll. It's been flown over the audience. One of the crowd members threw a toilet roll and basically it fell out of the sky and landed on someone.
No.
Yeah.
What was that? A
Phantom
as
well,
or something like that?
It weren't a Phantom.
No, I don't know what it
what it was because
like
Phantoms are not.
I was trying to work out what it was. Andy, you've had far more drones than probably anyone else that we know. If you can identify what drone this was.
Have we got the link?
Try and find the video.
Was it not like a professional rig if it was one used inside the
yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful shot, though. Got right in there with the toilet paper.
Amazing shot.
So was it allowed to be filming there?
We assume so. It looks like it was flying along, filming the crowd. So,
like, I don't understand why they bother with that because they've got the whole zip line system.
Why don't you just use the wires and have a camera hanging off of it?
And you definitely wouldn't do it over the crowd, would you?
No.
Maybe it was a smaller club or something, and just trying to maybe.
Not with all that many people there.
No.
Oh god, that was a horrible sentence. That was terrible.
Yeah,
Typhoon H. Peach.
Wow, that's a big quadcopter to be flying on someone at Typhoon H.
But it is a cheap quadcopter to be flying around, isn't it? Oh, I think it's a hexacopter, isn't it?
It's a hexacopter.
This is Tony being like, I can't believe I got run over by a Vauxhall Nova. I would have much preferred something like a Bentley.
If you're going to get run over, you might as well get run over properly.
With pure class.
It wasn't a Typhoon. It was definitely a quadcopter. So I'm not sure if it was an official drone or just something flown into the stone.
Wasn't it a unique Typhoon?
Is it because I'm fat, Richard Hardwood? Is that why you think I don't have any interest in sports?
More importantly, who takes a toilet roll with them to a stadium?
Me, I have to take toilet paper all the time. I've considered eating toilet paper to save me time.
Maybe it was someone with horrific IBS, and then they threw it and immediately regret it. Like, oh, what have I done? Goodbye socks.
Ah, yes, Q500. I think you're right.
Not the Crohn's and IBS fucking supporters.
I know.
Oh, bloody hell. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. That was
It's a
actually funny.
Q500.
You are so off my Christmas card list.
See you in rehab.
If I get a Christmas card from you, Jack, it'll be from someone else with your name scribbled in at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I've got some sort of tech newsy bits. There's some stuff that I'm just not going to get around to putting on
Come
my
on.
channel. So I might
Go
as
on
well
then.
Back to the
Okay.
physical
So
stuff.
I was sent by mistake. I was sent 2 of these. This right. It didn't look like this out of the box. But this is the SPC Maker 90NG. Now
Has he
this
got a
little
tumour?
guy- This little guy, no, it's just the top plate, isn't it? Right. But this little guy, so this is nearly 200 quid.
Okay.
NG.
100 quid.
Okay.
Nearly 200 quid's worth of quad. So I was expecting good things from this, and it turns out I've had 2 of these because the second one was sent by mistake, and they're both completely unflyable because they're actually, it's an F4 with Betaflight OSD. It's an omnibus F4 micro. Some really nice components, but this F4, I'm not sure what the MCU is on it, but it's one of the dreaded, terrible ones with horrific noise problems. So it literally shakes itself to death. 2 of those do that. So yeah, that's the SPC Maker 90NG. I don't know what any of you would honestly want to spend 200 quid on something that small, but if you know anyone thinking about it, stop them in their tracks. It literally does not fly. So it needs a whole ton of soft mounting to get it to even, you know, get anywhere near behaving. So that won't go onto the channel, but you've been warned.
Just it might be worth you. It's worth you doing a short video on it anyway, just to say.
I might very well just tag it on to as like a news item.
So bad they sent it twice.
Yes, indeed. So
Make one out of this. Too.
this one is the now fairly modified Leader 120, and I did a video just a couple of days ago on that. And this thing is 75 grams, and it is just amazing to fly. I mean, if you haven't seen the video up on this, check it out. It really does do all the stuff that I do with the 5-inch quads. This will handle it with no problem at all.
But you got to buy better props and things like that.
So the props, like these are actually the Rotor X props, and they're decent material. They're the ones that actually come in 2 sections that you kind of clamp them together.
Weird, isn't it?
But they're really great performing props, really well balanced, and on a good strong 3S, this feels like, you know, it's the equivalent to a 5S on a 5-inch. It really shifts, but just wonderful to fly. And then today, as I got in, this, which is literally hot off the press, this is the new Gep RC Sparrow.
That looks nice.
I tell you what, this only weighs 145 grams. So this is going to be a real monster because it's got, let me see what the stator is on this. My eyes are terrible. So it's a 3500 kV 1408, and a 1408 because I was using 1306s on my other. Where's my other one? There's my other. This was a really old Gep. This was the Reptile.
Along, isn't it? Look at it.
But that guy, and then you look at this guy. This weighs a whole lot less.
That looks
powerful, and they're claiming this guy will quite happily fly with a GoPro. You can see they've actually put the straps and yeah, that's what they're saying. And with the stator size of this, I think it might be possible. I'm going to check it out. But this feels premium. It's the only fault I'll say with it is, unfortunately, the flight controller they've gone for is kind of, I think it's a Pico BLX or similar to that. It's running on that firmware, but unfortunately there's no OSD on it, and kind of it's just a given now. For a good premium quad, you need an OSD.
It's pricey, NJ, isn't it, as well? I think
it's about 170, but when you compare that for 170,
where's that from?
That for 200.
Where's that from? And
So this one's been sent by Banggood. It's literally a brand new quad. This is
yeah,
only
I
just
think
come out.
I think I seen it come up. Yeah, I didn't realize it had no on-screen display though.
That's the only thing that's missing. Everything else really good, up to 35 amp burst.
The Swift that it's come with, has that got an on-screen display? Is it?
Yeah, that will have its normal. Yeah, it's a Swift one, but it's got they've
they
put the
still-
2.1 lens on it, which is my favourite lens anyway.
Oh, so it's
Do
the
they come like that, NJ?
Yeah, this is it out the box, literally as you see it.
How much is that
What mil is the carbon?
I'll drop a link in the chat so you can.
Looks quite a thick
It's
carbon.
that's 3 mil, but there's hardly any flex. It's really decent.
It's crash proof as well. That's one of my.
Nice.
Yeah, a couple of LEDs on the back. The XT30 obviously, which is great, and the soldering's good. So, and it comes with not the XSR. What's the mini? The mini with telemetry.
XM Plus?
No, it's the one above that has
The RXSR.
RXSR. That's it. Which is the little guy you can see just on the top.
Yeah, I've just got one of them.
Has it got a buzzer as well?
Yeah, buzzers in there. You can kind of see it there, just about.
I think the 3-inch class is going to be really popular because it hits that sweet 250 gram spot.
Yeah, easily. Well, this one's quite chunky in comparison, but this is quite an early.
I think I got that one.
Yeah, the Reptile, if you remember that one, and this still screamed and a lot of fun to fly. But if you look in comparison, this thing's going to weigh a whole ton less. It's got the 20 mil stacks. That's all just lighter in every way, and much stronger motors than these Emax 1306s. So yeah, I think they're going to be super interesting. And then the last couple of bits I'll show you, if you haven't already seen it, I've got to say I'm a big fan of it. It's very beautiful. Do you know what, the one thing I didn't do in that first part of the video review, which I thought this is going to make people angry, I never turned it on. But maybe that's my clickbait for getting them back for part two.
Clickbait too.
I'll turn it on just so you can see the screen on it. Oh,
That's really nice.
it is.
How much is that?
They're about 270.
Wow.
Um,
I'm not sure if I could bring myself to fly with anything besides the regular transmitter shape. I'm so used to that since flying.
It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's probably not coming out that great on here, but
Same size as the cheaper XR.
let me grab it. I can give you.
I forget all the bloody names of these things.
So there's the two of them together. If I can just about get that in view and see what I'm doing. Yeah, so there you go.
Is
The
it
biggest
touchscreen
thing.
as well?
Sorry?
Is it a touch screen as well?
It's not a touchscreen, but it's got that similar interface with the rotary encoder. It's pretty nice. I think the thing that I just disliked on this, could you see how deep the recess is on the gimbals? They're quite a long way in the transmitter on these, and that was my biggest gripe with the QX7.
How do you find the size
They're kind of annoying.
with that and then the normal Tranus? Like,
So the
in
normal
that way.
Tranus- let me grab that. So I know what you're talking about, and
because
these
wide.
feel-wise, these are much closer. It doesn't feel as alien as this to the QX7. The actual how it feels in the hands is actually quite similar, which is important to me.
And me, yeah. When I
Freestyle
sit
stuff.
down, I've got to prepare myself, take things out of my pockets, and put it in the right position. And I'm a bit of a weirdo like that. But
And the other nice thing as well, because I normally run with a stand on here, but you can see they've made a really deep
oh, that's nice.
handle, so it actually sits at quite a nice sort of shallow angle. But yeah, that's nice. So I'm going to go through the interface in this, even though I'm going to put OpenTX on here because OpenTX is wonderful. The actual Horus software that they've put on here by FR Sky is actually really good, just as stock, and it's got the logical switches, special functions. It's a little simpler than OpenTX, but it's actually very good. So yeah, there'll be more on that guy up and coming. So yeah. I think that's all the stuff that's currently surrounding me that people might be interested in. And the only, actually, there's one more thing while we're here. I've been sent by my wonderful friends at Ready Eddy these new cells to test out. And they're a bit of a pain because you can only get these direct from Ready Eddy in Israel. And I know that means there's a bit of a premium to getting hold of these cells, but these 1500 milliamp 95C. I've had the 1300 milliamp. I've flown the life out of them, and they're all still brilliant. These are really good cells. So yeah, Ready Eddie cells. And we've got Bloods in the chat. I should just quickly point out the Bloods. I did a review on his frame, the Archon, and I'm going to be building that up soon. It is a wonderful frame. Halo RC, if you want to go over and check his frame out. And he's just one guy that's gone out and worked hard on his own frame. He's got the parts being cut by Armatan, so they're really nice, high quality cuts, and I've been very impressed with that frame. So well worth checking out for any of you who haven't already. I look forward to building that one. But yes, that's all in my world. Anyone else? Anything?
Have you just while you're on the subject, Henja, have you seen that Ishin have come out, are coming out with even more goggles?
Yes, it was linked in the chat earlier, and I've just now had a gander, so I shall do
EV200s.
I haven't looked at
them yet, but why they got 4 antenna ports? I haven't looked at the detail yet.
It's 2 diversity modules, so like just more, I guess more.
Yeah, more is more, right?
Diversity.
What have you had?
Diversity.
4 antennas on your head?
Yeah.
I really would love to know how the R&D process works in that company, because it just it baffles me. It's like we've given them, amongst all the reviewers, we've given the information for them to, well, what we loved and what needs improving, for them to just watch a bunch of these videos and then go to the drawing board.
Do it in Chinese next.
It could be brilliant the next set, and instead they've gone, let's have 4 antennas. Brilliant. That will solve the problem. I'm already worried about
how many kV you want.
I think there are systems out there, that diversity systems, that have more than 2 antennas though. So I think that maybe that's what they were going for. You've got that. Is it Hobby King do a mammoth thing that points in all directions? So maybe that's the idea.
Overlord.
Yeah, the Overlord.
Yeah.
I'd love to see someone strap an Overlord to their head.
I mean, I'd say drugs, and it don't even make sense to me.
From my understanding of it, isn't it that it's one for each eye for doing 3D, so that you've got diversity?
Oh, it could
you're
be
doing 3D.
I don't know.
Yeah, but how popular is 3D?
Yeah, it's a pretty niche thing. But then there's the new on the Nerd Cam. Isn't there a new Nerd Cam coming out that's really, really tiny in terms of, it's still got the distance between the cameras, but it's like a really thin chip compared to the old ones that were really big and bulky. I can't remember who had it, but I'm sure I've seen a photo of someone putting it on a tiny whoop. So it's probably Carlos, because it's probably Carlos.
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? I think 3D makes a lot more sense if you're flying indoors, because when I've tried a 3D system, and when you're flying outdoors, you don't really get the 3D effect, because at a certain, you have to be a certain distance away from objects for them to look 3D. Otherwise, it's just like looking in the distance and everything's flat anyways. So put it on a little micro and fly indoors.
Why is it flat, Andy?
No, the dimension is flat.
Oh, sorry. Carry on. Sorry.
Because there's something called parallax, I think, isn't it? Eventually it stops being 3D and it goes flat. But yeah, Earth's still round, I think, anyways.
You can't prove it though.
Well, anyway, that's not. Maybe we shouldn't go there.
No, let's.
Shall we just check that Ash? Shall we just check that Ash isn't a flat earther?
I'm definitely not. But I do remember, I think it was last week, Andy, what some of you guys said about the retailers and manufacturers watching our reviews and taking on board our feedback, and the manufacturers seem to watch the videos and they do absorb the feedback and the bug reports, but the retailers, GearBest and Banggood, etc., don't seem to actually watch the videos, which is a real shame.
Oh no! Oh God! No!
I'm gonna mute Jack for a minute.
No.
Yeah, I know what he's doing, because MGFPV is in the chat and he's like, oh my God, I love her.
Yeah, I know. Oh God, we said we fancied her. Oh no!
She might not have been listening, and hopefully her
Oh
boyfriend.
no! Oh
slash
god,
mate-
her boyfriend wants to rip our dicks off.
Come on, we've got
So-
to be nice. We've got girls' night.
I've enjoyed living. Ish.
Jack.
Anyway,
I'm
before
gay for Tony. There you go. There's nothing you can do about it.
before Jack rudely interrupted, you were talking, Ash.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You know what happens. You've watched the show.
Exactly. Hey, this is much more controlled than last week.
Anything would be.
We've gone past the hour mark
true.
though, so it's all going to devolve into hell.
On
anyway.
that subject, Ash, the one thing that I will say about that is, I don't think it's as easy as we think for them to watch YouTube in China. I think
True.
there's a lot of
Golden firewall. Sorry. Is
yeah.
that what it's called?
Well, I think it
Golden
is kind of,
shield.
I think it is kind of blocked because it's kind of, I think it's more around the comments and freedom of speech and things like that, isn't it? So I think same with Facebook as well. I think they struggle with, so maybe it's something to do with that. And I think that's why we get a lot of stuff, is because it's difficult for them to have the same kind of impact if they were to have a YouTube channel and things like that, whereas it's easier for them to send stuff out. And it's good in a way that they don't watch them, because it means that we can be completely honest, so
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
But when they watch you, like that they should take on board the stuff that you've said, and like.
Well, actually, what I found is I've been having just recently a lot of issues with people buying stuff from GearBest. They recently had a problem with their shipping. In fact, I had the same problem. I got something from them, and it took 6 weeks to get here, and I fed that back to them, and I said, well, and they do take stuff like that on board. I said, you need to sort this out, because obviously it's having an impact on you. And I've been working with GearBest as well, because their prices are just vastly different than everywhere else. So I've been pointing out where like their prices are wrong and stuff, and they listen to stuff like that. So but yeah, less, not so much the comments in YouTube. And yeah, I definitely think there's a language barrier there as well. So yeah, that's my take on it.
No, I agree. And it was funny the other day. There was I reviewed a drone that was said to be waterproof. I know you've reviewed it before, the H31. JJ.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. I think that's my that's my most popular video, funnily enough. I don't know why.
It's my favourite drone to review so far, and it was said to be a waterproof drone, so I needed water, and I literally hunted around our city for hours to try and find somewhere I could actually fly it without breaking any regulations. And so the incidents that happen do make you think twice, especially as a reviewer. But no, it can land on the water and it can take off. It will sit there and wait for you to throttle up, and it didn't. It just sank.
Yeah.
I contacted the manufacturer, and they said, "Oh, no worries. We'll change the website. Fully understand." And so some of the manufacturers are really good, but I think you're right with the videos. Actually, it is all blocked over there on Facebook. They have to connect to a VPN to get onto it. So GearBest are very good, like you say. They listen, and mainly the girls over there that work for GearBest are always on hand for price changes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I've had a real trouble getting any GearBest stuff because they send me out a couple of review units and they just never turned up. And then now they've sent again, and still I'm waiting for something to arrive to actually.
Oh no, they haven't got a fake NJ sending them an address, have they?
No, I think it's
NJ Mac.
Who would dare? Yeah, so that is obviously sometimes the other problem, I guess. They're not all. Some of these Chinese companies are not always going the most legitimate route to sending parcels into the country. Certainly in terms of trying to avoid VAT, I think. So yeah, one of those things.
Hobby King clearly do that though, didn't they? They smuggle it in through Europe.
Well, they did when I ordered my Fat Shark SEs from them. I think it was an £80 bill.
Oh, nice.
I was
Wow.
gutted.
No, but how they get the stuff to the UK store.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I think that's what they do.
I noticed that whenever I pretty much anywhere these days, they always come via Sweden. So GearBest and Banggood and Hobby Wow seem to have a lot of depots over there.
Yeah, you know what the Swedish are like with copyright laws and tax.
They can come through David, didn't they?
Yeah, they're literally pirates. You know, like I was, you know, like I'm sure I'm on some sort of list from being on Friends with David.
Yeah, I don't think it's the list that you're thinking of, Jack.
He's definitely old enough. And when I touched him, he liked it.
Yeah, we're going,
I should message him.
going near that list.
Yeah.
I got something new
I
through
dunno.
today, which is your goodies, and I'm drooling over your Horus that you've got there. Wingsland X1. It's a brand new little. I mean, Wingsland have a weird history. They brought out a photographic videography drone, the S6, little folding drone. Great quality camera, but the rest of the drone just a little bit unstable, but still not a bad little thing. This is basically a $100 FPV racing drone. Little camera on the front, 640 by 480. Pretty good range on it as well. But the weird thing is, it's got optical flow as well, so you basically can halt it at any point and it just hovers on the spot. Really nice indoor and
Rainer.
outdoors. Sorry?
That's becoming quite popular now, even on the toy stuff, isn't it? The optical flow, yeah.
And it's really good. I mean, it's really impressive as well. This thing literally just you let go of the controls and it stops dead. You know?
Yeah, I'm the same, Ash. It's only NJ that gets all the great stuff that comes through. NJ gets sent a Horus from Banggood. Do you want to see what I got today from Banggood? I got sent a quadcopter with a little banter on it. So yeah, 40,000 subscribers, a little tiny. This is what you can expect. So NJ's got some kind of special. I think
he is quite classy. It definitely has something to do with being in rehab.
I think
it's not that. I think I'm just a bully.
It clearly is, man.
I just bully them.
Always balling on a budget, mate. You're just.
I think as a Banggood person takes one look at his profile picture and says, "Just have all of the things."
Which is NJ on his plane, on his private jet.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't chat now. I'm on my private plane.
Yeah.
Sadly, that wasn't mine. I wish it was.
How many KV you want?
Look, someone's got an Easter egg. What's that?
Oh, I think I've got that one as well, Ash. Yes.
Oh, just wait till you fly it, Andy. It's brilliant.
No, Christmas special.
I flew the non-Christmas version of it, and yeah, it was really tricky to fly.
How long before there's a Christmas Mr. Hanky? Flying Hanky. You know, like those pirouette Barbie dolls. You know, the one that goes on the fire and the girl starts crying. Someone needs to make. Seek and destroy. You've got no life. Can you make one? A spinning fairy drone, Mr. Hanky. Does everyone know what the hell I'm on about?
Yes, we do.
Oh, thank God.
Don't give Banggood any ideas.
Oh man, that's what I am literally waiting for.
But wasn't there a big one of them at the drone show?
There was. That's what it's.
What, Mr. Hanky?
Power Vision Power Egg. It's called.
The flying love egg. Yes.
Flying egg.
Flying love egg.
Look, I didn't say love egg. Andy RC.
If you found that in your mother's closet, you wouldn't think that was a Christmas present. You'd think it was her stash.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, folks. We always do this.
I'm sorry, MG. Please don't not fancy me anymore.
I don't think she does. She's got a boyfriend.
Mate, she wouldn't touch us two toothless moonlighting dinner ladies with a 10-foot stolen dick.
Andy, that point does it is a point actually about these budget market. is just swamped with sub $30, £30 drones.
Yeah,
Always-
but there's a reason for that, and that's because people don't want to spend even £100 on a quadcopter. And
Yeah.
if you solely review premium stuff, I think you're missing a trick, because there's the most, like when I'm out flying, the first thing anyone says, well, it's usually how far can it go and how much does it cost. And the moment that you say anything above £30, they'll go, oh right, I'll carry on walking my dog then. So
Yeah.
there's a reason there's so many toys, and I think toys are a great thing, because it's what got me back into this hobby after a huge break. I didn't know whether, 'cause I always flew planes, so I never flew helicopters. So I thought I'll buy a cheap toy, and I loved it straight away. And I learned to fly on a cheap Hubsan thing, and now I'm in a huge amount of debt. So great.
Christmas is coming, so they've got to get these silly things out, haven't they?
Have you ever just been flying something and you weren't that impressed with it, Andy, and you were just like, give me 30 quid, you can have it, and then just hand it to them and then just walk off?
Oh, not even that. I pretty much I give a lot away. A lad just yesterday, because obviously this gets a lot of interest, and they're like, if it's like a toy one or a very cheap one, and they're interested in it, I'll say, once the review's done, this where I live, knock on the door and it's yours. And that's how I sort of don't accumulate.
Don't tell people that, because you're just going to have weirdos knocking on your door,
Yeah.
like, you said I can have my love egg. Where's my love egg? And then you're having to try and explain that to your mum.
No, I think it's a great way to get into it, and I've got like all this sort of knowledge and stuff, so I think it's better that they have one off me and I can sort of show them and teach them. And they when I give them away, they go and watch the videos as well. So what was the lad's name yesterday? Josh, I think his name. Probably not watching, but yeah, I gave it to a lad named Josh.
I did that the other day. When I went to the Star Wars thing last year, I got some drones from there, and I gave one to one of my someone who one of my neighbours, and gave it to their son who is 10, and then I got a nice little card 2 days later saying thanks.
Yeah,
cool.
for me, getting the, like, at first it's great to get free stuff, but then when like it's more stuff that you can deal with. So I gave one away to a charity it was an event a couple of weeks ago, and like where someone bids on it basically, and then the money goes to charity when they bid on it. So that one, it was just a toy one, but it got 50 quid, so that wasn't too bad. So I try and I know a particular person that has a lot to do with charities, which is helpful, because I just offload them to there. It's much easier way than
that's really good way of doing it.
Like, it's really tricky doing giveaways on the channel with postage and stuff, because for it to be fair, you need to do it worldwide. And sometimes a little, I know, 50 quid quadcopter could cost 50 quid to post it. So I try and give them away locally into charities and things.
I'm really sad to hear that you're now in debt. I think all your subscribers should donate you £1.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm
40,000.
Imagine that, you'd get 40 grand.
Anyone who does this is spending a lot of money, aren't they? So
have you not considered, Andy, doing paid content? Because on YouTube you can have you work hard.
It's already bad enough he does Let's Drone out. It will just make people hate you.
I think if you're doing this, any of this purely for the money, it's the wrong attitude. And I am like, do you know a chap called Colin Firth? Is that his name? He's started doing paid content. Like you see a video pops up and you have to pay £1.80, and I'm like, I pressed unsubscribe.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I saw it. Like, he done a washing machine one today, and
it's great content, but now he's doing paid stuff, and I unsubscribe.
This is what happens when you get big, though, isn't it? This is what happens. You get to a certain amount of subscribers, and then like some people will sell out and just
Yeah.
and do that.
I've considered Patreon. I think Patreon's a great thing, but I suffer with stress quite a lot, which is strange because I come on this show. But
That's why, Andy.
What the hell?
This is like therapy.
I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I decided to work for Let's Drone Out at the Let's Drone Out bar.
This is like therapy, Andy. You realise you're not alone when you're on this channel.
I know, like, what the hell? Do you just come on here and just be like, well, that was over. I'm glad I'm not Tony and Jack. At least I'm not a twat. And then you just lay there asleep, like warm and
not
snuggly.
at all. I love chatting to you guys. I think very underrated show, and you get great people. You guys have connected me as well with some great people. You know, I never
What,
thought
like MJ?
yeah, MJ's awesome, and I never thought I'd get the opportunity to speak to David or Chad, and that's amazing. And I've actually I got you guys to thank for there's a review unit coming, and it's the Underground FPV guys, and apparently someone through Let's Drone Out, just basically they weren't sure whether they should send something for review to me, and then they were like, oh no, it's cool, it's like, you know, it goes on Let's Drone Out and all this. And I've got the it's a frame, it's a really unusual frame, it's called the Core V2, and it's like designed, it's like molded carbon, and that's going to be going back to what Ash was saying about builds. I'm going to do a build of that coming up on the channel, and you guys connected me with that, so yeah, I love coming on here.
It is weird, isn't it? How like Let's Drone Out is like you're the geekiest, second ugliest kid in high school, and the hot girl kind of sits near you at lunch and talks to you.
Yeah.
And you don't know whether to ask her out or not. And then basically skip past 20 years later and you're 35. And she was like, yeah, I would have. I was kind of like waiting for you to kind of like, you know, ask me to out, you know, and you're just like, you know,
but you wake up and find yourself in a room on your own talking to a load of men on
I know,
Thursday night at 8. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. And you are like, the only reason you haven't got a shotgun in your mouth is because you live in England.
Fucking hell.
You were saying about Patreon, Andy. I think the problem with that is that then you're obligated to put out content, and I'm always shocked by how many videos you put out on a weekly basis. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, man, you're like a machine.
Well, it's quite simple, really. I had a job and I was made redundant from it a year ago. This week actually, so I do YouTube solely, and I don't do Patreon. I know we went off on a crazy tangent there, but yeah, I do suffer from, like, I do get stressed, and I think if I had a Patreon, you're not obligated, but I'd feel obligated if people are putting their hard-earned cash. Like there's definitely pressure there, even though it's technically not there. In my head, it's like I need to make content, whereas if I don't have a Patreon, I could just stop if I wanted anytime, and there's no consequence, you know. So but it's something I think about, because it's a good way. It's kind of, the way I see it, it's kind of like if you were busking in the streets and someone wanted to throw you a pound or something like that, they don't get anything from it other than enjoying your content. But I think with Patreon, like I see people giving out stickers and sending products and things like that, and I having the capacity to do that, I think I struggle.
I think there's probably a bit of a conception of how the Patreon model works, and for me, because I have a Patreon account which I set up quite early when I was kind of getting the channel or getting more serious about the channel, but I think it's one of those things. It's just a platform to do whatever you want with it. So I mean, yes, there is a sort of kind of typical model with goals and pledge for this and you'll get that. And literally with my one, I said, if you want to donate something because mainly because there's like a series of video. It might have been my flight school stuff or my build tutorials or tips and tricks. If there's something that's helped you and you want to actually give something back, then you're more than welcome to. And then what I did is, rather than say, you know, I put just a list of pledges, I say just do what you want. I've got a Facebook group, an NJ Tech Patron Facebook group, where everyone that's in my Patron members can just talk to me and chat to me one-to-one. I said I'll always help you out, and I mean I try, and I will do this for as long as I can, to reply to nearly everyone that comments on my YouTube, but I try my best to not leave anyone. Obviously there's a point where that gets, you know, nearly impossible.
I used to do that,
but the two things I stipulate in the Patreon thing, I say, first of all, if you've donated once, then that's all you ever have to do, and you're in this group for life, and you can talk to me. You've once given me $1 to say thank you. You're in the group, and if you want to chat to me one-to-one, I'll happily help you out, because that's why I got into this. The whole thing was I love helping people. I love seeing people excited about the hobby the way I was, and I try and support everyone on my channel as much as possible. But the main things I do for the people that are in it, I say you can donate once. If you want to continue after that, you can, but don't feel that you ever need to. And the other thing I do is this is where a lot of my stuff ends up. I give away all my stuff to my patrons as well, because again, like Andy and I'm sure Ash as well, you end up accumulating stuff, and I just give it back. So, you know, I've going to be giving away a split.
You are definitely getting into heaven. You part with us dickheads on this show, so you know, we fucking know you're a good guy.
That's an interesting one on comments as well. I've and also the sort of commitment to putting out reviews. I've started to. I'm new and I've hardly got any subscribers compared to you guys, but I do find there's quite a lot of pressure to put reviews out, and you get to the end of the week and you haven't put a review out, and I start to think I need to get a review out, and also you know, so building subscribers is so hard, and getting comments on the videos. I thrive on comments, and I spend a lot of time putting reviews out, and I love reading the comments. That really makes me feel enthusiastic about doing more and more. And I've been feeling really demotivated in the last few weeks, just really because of subscriber building is very slow. I feel like I'm doing something wrong with my reviews. Maybe I'm being too honest. And also getting comments on the videos is also, it seems to be hard work to get people to just write a simple comment. And you can't ever force people to do that, but all you ask is, you know, if you enjoy the review, or if you don't enjoy it, drop a comment. But the YouTube audience, I think, is a very hard audience.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think it's if we understood how to get subscribers, you know, you could do the most perfect, concise, exactly what people are after YouTube video on a product, and it might be for absolutely no reason at all. One that doesn't get the review number or the watch numbers that you want, because none of us know how YouTube's ever-changing algorithm works. Yeah. A prime example of that was I just, out of a complete tangent, I bought a TS100 when they started to become something to, you know, the soldering iron, the little portable soldering iron, which happens to be an absolute wicked soldering iron, and it's one I use as my main one now instead of a £140 Weller. And I just thought, I bought it with my money. I bought it with my money, and I just thought, this thing is so good, I've just got to do a quick video on it. It's not really a quad focus thing, but we have to solder, it's part of the hobby. And I put that video out, and that's had like nearly 40,000 views. And I'm like, this has got nothing to do with what the hell. And I've sold, like, in terms of like people clicking on affiliate links, it's the one that people have gone and bought loads and loads and loads and loads of. Yeah. And I just think, well, hang on, this is like, all I'm doing is trying to review quads and build subscribers for quadcopter related stuff, and then out of nowhere, this TS100 video has just gone through the roof. And exactly, there are times when you just think, what do I have to do to get the right people to see the videos? And it's a real mystery. And
it's the same with editorial as well. So my website, I write about drones, I write about crowdfund projects. One of my most read articles even today is an article I wrote about endpoints in RX range in Betaflight. You know, I look at analytics, and there's always somebody reading that article, and yet to me that was probably the most insignificant article I've ever written. and yet it's
It's amazing though. That is, I learned from David Winderstall's tricopter tutorials about that, and that changes having resolution
yeah,
and not having your quad drift is so good.
yeah, and not a lot
You're
of
doing
people.
God's work.
Not a lot of people know about it. Almost every drone that I get, every quad that I review, especially the micros, their RX range is way out. Most people would never even notice. They just bind their transmitter and fly it. They'd never know that the endpoints are wrong. So that's why I wrote it, because people didn't seem to know about RX range. It might be rendered irrelevant by newer versions of Betaflight, but
Have you? You know the sorry, dude, to cut you off.
That's right.
You know the FSI 6. That's perfect. Like, has anyone ever used one of them?
Yeah, I've
I've
had to
got one on-
program a few of them.
I've got one
And
on its
they're-
way.
Yeah, they're spot on. 1,500, 1,000, 2,000.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, they're
No,
cheap,
it's like
super light.
they were. Yeah, it was like it was written for that.
Isn't that weird?
It's really odd. Really,
I've got
really odd.
going back to the whole the YouTube thing. You know, you were talking about that waterproof drone.
Yeah.
So that is, I think that's probably my. I don't know why. It's probably my most popular video. I think it's got 300,000 views. So I thought, yeah,
That's more views than my entire channel, Andy. I'm going.
Yours and mine, yeah.
it's a little.
What did he do? Get his nipples out?
No, let me tell you what I did. So they sent me this waterproof quadcopter, and I could see straight away that it wasn't going to float. Like you say, it doesn't float. It's got all holes in it and stuff. So I took it to the local pond just down the road, and I let it just drown for like 15 minutes or something. Anyways, it's not like it's not really an interesting video, but it's got like 300,000 views. So I thought, people are into this. So I looked at what other waterproof drones there were, and there was another. So I said, send me that. I did exactly the same thing. It got like 2,000 views, and it still has. So you can't explain.
I remember that video, Andy. You were chasing the ducks as well in the.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, you bastard. That's what it was.
Yeah, just in case the CAA are listening, unintentionally.
And do you know what? I've got a theory as well. I think I might have seen Josh post about this as well. He said to intentionally say something in your videos that are incorrect because people love. See,
You get the comments, yeah.
I said in that video.
So what's going wrong with Let's Drone Out then?
Yeah, because this is misguided information permanently.
Well,
I have to write an essay, that's why.
in that
Oh man, the train,
That's the
the
right
helicopter train thing. I've never seen so many angry, vipery comments of. Oh my! Sorry, carry
Well,
on.
anyways, I called them ducks, but they were geese, right? And people went nuts when I did that. So maybe that's it.
It could be. I often, I don't know why, but you know when you're babbling on about a review to yourself, talking to your GoPro, and I often say milliamps instead of milliwatts, and milliwatts instead of milliamps.
Yeah.
And people always comment on, yeah, you're so right. They always pick up on little things like that.
Well, there's
love
plenty,
that.
plenty of pedants out there. There's no, definitely no
Yeah.
shortage of them. Yeah.
I think Josh calls them cynical bastards, doesn't he?
I can't get over that we've had some really famous people.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Steele, the lot, and the number one episode is
Yeah.
Tinfoil Hat, the Earth is flat. Like, it's just like, what? Like, I am on drugs, but
Well, there you go. That's your audience. We need to
oh man,
let's
Jack,
flat out.
If you'd have put the whole of last week's episode online, I guarantee that would have been your number one watched video.
I don't know, man. A lot of people like.
I think only the people who actually know us and have been subscribers for at least 6 months would have got last week. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, that is my present to Tony for being like a good friend. You know, he always wanted it. And it was like, I would have hated to have died and Tony never to have seen me drunk. Do you know what I
need to
mean?
do your present next time because you're actually quite nice. But it was fun.
I am. You are my friend. I do actually like you. You
It
know,
just
it's
doesn't
not.
come across that way, Jack.
It's just banter. That's what the kids call
Yeah,
it.
I
Bants.
can't like stress. You know what I mean? You're friendly to all the animals. If I was in trouble, you'd help me.
Always
Do you know what I mean? Admittedly, you're a pain in the ass. You know, and I need some sort of
5S quad yet, you bastard.
no, because I've lost the ESCs.
I've got them posted out by a subscriber. You better not have lost them.
I know, I've lost them. I've lost one of my Kiss ESCs. That's why I haven't done anything to the beta
You'll
flight.
lose a kidney if you don't fucking fix that. You
Look, I've done nothing. I can't. I've only got 3 ESCs.
Yeah, that was like that last week. What the fuck do you do?
I've been looking for the ESCs.
You fucking only live in a little flat.
It's like
these.
It's like watching a married couple, isn't
I
it?
know.
It's all apart over the internet.
Sorry, we just went off topic.
But just each turn of the argument gets louder and higher pitched. You know.
I do apologise.
Ladies' night, Andy, last week. My first thoughts were it was going to be those two dressed as women.
Oh, mate, that would never happen. Like,
You know
never,
what?
ever.
Honestly, Jack, shall we?
Then you can call the episode.
Never.
You can.
I would just look like the most awful tranny. I'll be like,
There's your clickbait thumbnail for you.
Yeah, and the title could be Jack Transitions.
yeah, that's it.
Jack comes out.
My name's Janet.
No,
Sorry,
Janet.
Jacqueline.
Janet.
We already came up with the name Jacqueline.
Janet.
But I like Janet more. I think it's, look at him. Look at
my
NJ.
dreams.
NJ's brother. NJ needs to go back to
Kill
rehab
himself.
again. Free NJ.
All my hired work, you know, talking about these new batteries and like all the sticks on the QX7, and then I'm 20 minutes later they're screaming Janet really loudly, and he's just like, why do I bother? Like, why?
I think it would be actually quite funny if we dressed up as women next week.
I'm not dressing up as women ever.
Oh god.
Okay. But
Never.
is it only me who's up for that? Weird. Okay.
That's a whole different
There's
channel.
more about you than me, Tony. That's all I'm saying. Plus, I want to be perfect for MG FPV. I'm gonna find my hairbrush or buy a new one.
You're gonna find it in there. You can't even find the ESE.
I might cut one of my shirts really low as well.
That always works. Look at Andy RC. He's unzipped his zip.
I know. I'm making him stop it. Don't listen to him, Andy.
I'm feeling very vulnerable now after all of this talk about.
I know. It's not your fault. You're northern.
Yeah. You're lucky I'm just wearing a top at all. It's far too warm here.
Yeah, you weren't wearing a hat earlier on in your video. What's that about?
I had my hair cut and it was a
Let's have a look.
judgment call. I can't really see, but I had it cut short.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Ash? What are you planning on doing?
What do you mean in life, or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's a very
it's
broad
like,
question.
You know, because there's only so many times you can go, look, if it's on Kickstarter, it's shit.
True. Well, I mean, so I don't just follow crowdfund. Manufacturers and retailers are sending bits and bobs, so nowhere near as much as you guys. But you know, I'm trying to be more selective about what I say yes to now, because they do always want to send you the $30 drones. I'm trying to find only drones or pods that are going to do, other than just reviewing everything. Like, you know, the channel Quadcopter 101, that guy reviews about 5 drones a day, and I think you can easily bombard your audience with too many reviews of essentially the same drone. So I'm trying to.
He does well though, doesn't he? That guy, despite that, he's
I
like over 100,000 subs. I'm telling you, there's a huge market for the toy thing, even if they're very similar. I always say, if it flies, I'll review it. Yeah, obviously we all love the premium stuff, but there is some great cheap stuff out there, and people love cheap stuff. One thing I wanted to ask you, because the only Kickstarter sort of crowdfunded thing I ever got involved in was the the Extreme Flyers one. Well,
yeah.
micro drone. Yeah. I wanted to ask you. Yeah, that's the one. I wanted to ask you. Has there been a completely, what you would say, completely successful crowd-funded project? Like everyone was happy with it, like the majority, because like that's what I'm getting from this is like a lot of people pile so much money into it and then they're just disappointed every time.
I know one. What's that? Quadcopter. What the following one? Purple plastic.
Air
Dog. That worked.
Air Dog has been very popular. Yeah, it hasn't really conquered the consumer market. It's quite specialist sports market because it's waterproof and it's foldable
and you have to wear a watch.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the real niches about Air Dog. It's got a tracking bracelet which you don't have to worry about carrying around a phone or a transmitter. Starker is another one, a Norwegian sort of Air Dog copy, which again is struggling to get to market, but it's finally being shipped out to customers now and they seem quite happy with it. So yeah, there are some success stories, but I think even if the product is really good, a lot of the frustration can come from the time that it takes to get that product to rackers.
I mean, Air Dog looks really good though. Everything I've ever watched on it looked really, really good.
It's a really unusual process, I think. I think it's interesting, crowdfunding, because it's like a loan, really, isn't it?
It is. What my advice to customers would always be to make sure that when you do put your money into a company on a crowdfunding basis, that it's very clear that your money is only invested when the product goes into production. Yeah. That your money is not used to fund R&D or marketing or anything else, or even running costs of offices and staff, because that's what sometimes happens.
It's classed as a gift, isn't it? I was looking up. It's classed as a gift, and it's and because of that, I don't think they have to pay tax on it as well, as long as it's invested into the product. Yeah, I think I believe so, because I always thought it's really strange, because technically you're just getting given a lump sum of money, and surely if you were to do that as an individual, I don't know, because if you look at Microdrone, for example, it was like, didn't it raise millions?
Yeah,
3 million. If someone all of a sudden gives you 3 million, you'd think the tax man would go, what's all this about? But I believe that it's sort of classed as a gift. It's a real interesting method.
Oh my god, that is a fantastic way to launder money, isn't it, really?
Well, this is the problem now. Drone manufacturers, or some individuals, are taking advantage of that. They're actually creating crowdfund campaigns for drones that already exist. So they're actually saying we've got this amazing drone and it's going to be spectacular and it's going to be shipped on time, when actually it's a product, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll post a link in the
Well, with Phantom scrolled out in white Sharpie.
Well, literally, this drone had been out for a year. People invested a load of money, and they were furious because they found that after the campaign had concluded, that the same drone had been on Amazon for a year at half the price under a different name. So it's a shame that the crowdfunding concept is being dragged in the mud. Andy, there's one that you'll remember called Air Selfie.
Oh yes, was that? Oh yeah, it was crowdfunded. Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was. Well, they sent me another one. Interestingly, exactly. There are some very minor differences, but they saw my review and they said, "Where did you get it from? We don't believe it's from an authorized seller." And I said, "Well, here's the photos of the box, of the label, of the serial number." And they didn't say either way, yes or no, it's legitimate. But we'll send you another one for review. So they sent me this one. And my review will be live on it in a few days to compare the two. But so this actually is quite impressive. It's air grade aluminium. It's beautifully made.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't fly brilliantly outdoors, but indoors the video is pretty good. So some of them are, I would say, crowdfunded drones are on the whole partially successful, but I'm yet to see a 100% successful drone campaign that's been crowdfunded and has left every single backer happy.
I like there's an episode of Family Guy that touches on crowdfunding, and I think Peter just sort of says like a backhanded comment. It just says get a proper loan like normal people, something like that.
Has anyone seen those annoying like top 20 newest inventions on YouTube? And like there's always the fucking drone and the sausage egg maker. You know, you poke the egg in the thing and the sausage of the egg comes up and like just bollocks of life. Yeah.
Yeah, read into what you just said, Jack.
All right, how about this? Read into this. Andrew / Frank.
Hello.
Why is Kermit the Frog messaging us?
What?
He messaged us today, yeah. Have you not heard any of his downloads? We should download. He's probably listening now. A guy found our channel on Apple, not on SoundCloud, whatever the Apple one is we upload to.
iTunes.
Yeah, and he has found us and found us on Facebook and messaged us.
Yeah.
And then he has actually done Kermit the Frog voice, which I found quite amusing. So, hello, Kermit. You know you are. I can't actually remember his name.
Phil Parslow.
That's it. There you go. You got a shout out, Phil.
Yeah.
Kermit.
It's really strange having Kermit the Frog tell you that about ESCs and how funny the show is. I was like, man, these painkillers are good. I was like, totally like, I was just like, what the hell? Anyone? Rob Bryant said about it quickly. Get Kermit on. Oh, for fuck's sake! I hate like our listeners, man. They're just like they are just piss-taking little bastards.
We love them.
Bridgegate update. Chad Kappa, Rob Bryant posted about it.
Oh.
Okay.
Does anyone want to read about it?
Someone
Please,
read
don't
it
make
out
me.
nicely. Make Frank do it because he's sensible. Frank,
It's in Rotor Riot.
And read it out, please.
That's what it's called.
Stick it up to the screen, Jack. Go on.
Get Kermit on.
No, oh no, please
Well,
no.
we've you put the link in the chat, and we'll put it in the description of the video as well, so people can go and have a read. But
So this morning I woke up to a letter of investigation from Transport Canada. In the letter, I was invited to call and assist with the investigation of the violation of Canadian Aviation Regulation CAR 602.41, which states no person shall operate an unmanned air vehicle in flight except in accordance with it stated that the maximum fine of 25,000 Canadian dollars. I was not obligated to say anything. I was allowed to hang up at any time without affecting the results of the investigation. Very polite. Chad declined to give any details until he was able to consult with a lawyer, but let him know that he intends to be accountable for his actions. And number one priority is that they don't negatively affect the hobby. So I mean, it sounds like it's
that's a pretty humble and well thought out reply. So that's kind of good to see. As I said, it's just kind of sad that
did you
in this
get
situation
that?
in the first
Sorry,
place. But
It's a shame it happened.
yeah,
is this? Did you read it all?
It just sounds like they're going to continue looking into it, but
this looks like bloody Leonardo da Vinci's writing on my phone because it's all mirrored. Like it looks totally nuts.
I wonder if there'll be any complications around whether the flying was done for commercial purposes or
They can't because it was Canada.
The funniest thing for me was the drone was under 250 grams. I was like, yeah, righto.
Well,
Definitely
that's what the news said, but the news always gets stuff wrong, so I wouldn't look too much into that.
So does Let's Go now.
Get Kermit
on that subject. I'm definitely excited with the performance of these micros now. That's just that 250 gram thing, if it ever became a thing, doesn't really upset me nearly as much after flying a 75 gram. Well, with the battery, it's going to be more than that, but not much. After flying that and getting the performance that I did out of it, a big smile on my face. I just thought, well, we can get great performance under 250 grams if that's where we did ever end up. But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
I think what I hated about that statement though was that the news came across as saying that, oh, look what this thing can do, and it's under 250 grams. It's like forcing that 250 gram limit to be even lower.
They'll always find a way to spin twist the words.
Yeah, that's what it came across to me. So I hope that's not the case.
But I suppose we should probably think about wrapping up as we are now
2 hours.
2 hours deep.
2 hours
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, no worries. So, Nick, thank you for listening to Let's Drone Now. Next week we'll be joined by Kermit the Frog. NJ will be smoking weed in Amsterdam. Tony will be drinking red hot red wine.
Microwaved.
Yeah, microwave. Ash, if you want to come on, you might as well. You look all right. Andy RC, if you can be asked. And Frank/Andrew, Lord help if he never comes on because nothing will ever get done.
At some point.
Now it's time to ring another Andy of mine and complain about hoodies. I'd just like to point out how much I hate Tony.
Thanks, Jack. Always nice to come on.
I know.
Thanks very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Ash.
Great.
Yeah. And if you're MG FBV's boyfriend, I'm really sorry. Please don't hurt me.
Please don't hurt me.